So the Android Q Beta 3 is out right now, and at the moment Android Q consists of 3 different ways to navigate the operating system. In this video, I'm going to take a deep dive and show you exactly how to navigate the Android Q operating system with all 3 different methods. So now I'm going to jump into the settings and I want to show you exactly the options you have to navigate Android Q. As you can see here, you have 3 different options. You have the full gesture navigation. In the full gesture navigation right there, you have the 2-button navigation and the 3-button navigation. 3-button is the legacy system. Right here, this is the 3-button navigation. This is what you come to know and love from Android all throughout the many years. The 2-button navigation system is the one that was introduced in Pi that a lot of people had a lot of issues with. I personally did not. I actually enjoy the 2-button system. It reminds me of WebOS. Ooh, love my Palm Pre. This is the full gesture navigation system. As you can see here, the bar changes, and this is the one that mimics the iPhone 10, 10s, 10s Max the most. So I'm going to go ahead and start with 3-button navigation system just to show you what it's like if you have not used Android, period. Super easy to use and get to know. For those of you who have never used Android before, you have your back button. That takes you back to the previous page. You have your home button, and then you have your recents button. I believe in this version of Android it's actually called the overview, but it just has all the apps that are open right here. You can swipe between them. You can actually access some of the apps that the system has picked that it thinks you want to open up, and in my opinion it's actually pretty daggone accurate. You can search here and you can swipe all the way up to get to your app drawer. One of the great things about the 3-button system, and it was introduced in Android Nougat, you just double tap on the recents button. It will take you to the previously used app. Double tap, double tap. Now the one feature that's gone in this and in Android Pie is holding this to create split screen. You cannot hold this and create split screen. You actually have to go here and do split screen like that still. But you have the option of the 3-button navigation system here on the Pixel 3 and 3 XL, which it was never there before. Jumping back into the gestures part of the settings app, we're going to go ahead and switch to the 2-button system. 2-button system here changes the bar to just a back button and a home button. And how you operate the 2-button system, there's a lot of controversy about this, like I said before, in Android Pie, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to work it and how to work it smartly so that you actually don't have some sort of frustrating issues with the system. So with the 2-button system, you swipe up from the navigation bar. It does not have to be from the home button. It can be anywhere in the navigation bar. Swipe up will take you to the overview menu, and like I said before, you have all your apps and things down there. A swipe up again will take you to your app drawer. A swipe down will take you back to the app, or you can just touch and go back to the app here. Now, if you want to switch apps, it used to be in Android Pie where you swipe right and then it would just switch between, do a quick swipe right, it would switch between the most recent app. But now doing so actually takes you to this app, and doing so takes you to the next app, and doing so takes you to the next app. And as you can see, there are some issues here with the Reddit app and Android Q Beta. Now, if you are here in an app and you want to go home, you just touch home right here. If you are home, you can do a quick swipe right to bring up that recent app that you were just in. So let's go back home here. Now, if you want to get into your app drawer, first of all, if you want to get into the overview, the quick swipe up just gets you to the overview. That's one swipe up, swipe back down will take you back home, or you can push the pill in the center. If you would like to get into your app drawer from the home screen, you could do 2 swipes. Now you're in your app drawer, or you can just do one slower swipe and get straight into the app drawer. Previously, people thought, and this is an Android Pie too, if you're watching this video and you have an Android Pie device running these gestures, people always thought you had to swipe all the way up here to get into it. I don't know why. I guess that's poor planning from Google, or maybe it's tech blog sites not particularly knowing how to use phones and just reporting on them. But all you have to do is just one slow swipe. You do not have to swipe all the way up to the top. As you can see, it's just one slow gesture. Now here's one quick thing I do want to show you about these gestures. I'm going to go ahead and open up YouTube and just play a random video that's on the home screen. Let's just play this video. Oh, cool. He just uploaded this video about the Pixel 3a XL. Pixel 3a, excuse me. I turn the phone this way. You do see here, I can push here at the bottom of the nav bar and actually make this go full screen. And that is also with the 3-button navigation too. But one thing I noticed differently about this version on Android Q than on Android Pie is that when you want to go back home before, especially on watching like Netflix videos and stuff, you had to swipe once here, bring up the navigation bar, and then swipe again to go back home. Now it's just one simple swipe if you want to go back to the overview. I said go back home, I meant go back into the overview. So now you don't have to bring up the navigation bar. You actually can just do a swipe and go straight back into the overview just like that. If you would like to go back with this, you have that back button right there. Let's get the camera focus. Hit that back button, push that back button, it'll take you back to the previous screen. You can no longer do a swipe from the pill and hold. Let me get it in focus. You can no longer do a swipe from the pill and hold in order to switch to between a bunch of apps. You actually have to just look at that weirdness. You actually have to just continue to do swipes to go back and forth between apps. Now, in order to figure this out, though, if you do go into an app and you start to interact with that app, or you wait a little bit longer trying to switch between the other app, it will actually, a swipe right will actually take you back to the previous app. It won't continue you shuffling through all of your open apps. This is what you actually came to this video to see, the fully gestural navigation. It's an odd name, in my opinion. One's called 3-button, one's called 2-button, and then one's called fully gestural navigation. I don't know, it's just kind of weird to me. But we're going to go ahead and enable that, and you will see your navigation bar is now extremely small. Interact with this like you do with an iPhone 10, 10s, 10s Max. So if you want to go home, just say swipe up from the navigation system. Well, just swipe up from the nav bar will take you home. So open up YouTube here. You'll see you have a really cool animation when you go back, just like you do on iOS. And the icon actually bounces. Check it out. You see it has a little bounce to it. Bounce, biggity, bounce, biggity, biggity, bounce, bounce. So that's how you go back home, just a quick swipe up from the nav bar. Now, if you want to get into the overview, just a quick swipe and hold will take you to the overview, just like you do on the iPhone. Quick swipe and hold. You do not have to swipe all the way up and hold. Just do a quick swipe, hold, and you're there. So this is kind of where they bridge the gap between the 2-button system and the fully gestural system. If you do want to switch between apps, you just do a quick swipe on the right, like so, going between all your apps. You can go back to this app. That's how that works. It's the same as the 2-button system. Now, when you're home, though, this is where something new is happening here. You do not have to do that slower swipe from the bottom anymore. You just do that quick swipe to get to your app drawer, just like you do if you're using the 3-button system. It goes back to that way of just doing one simple cool swipe and not having to do a slower swipe or anything like that. Now, if you're in the app drawer and you do want to get to your overview, you do not have to swipe up from the bottom where the navigation bar is. Just swipe up like this, and you just do that swipe and hold, and you will get into overview. And you're wondering, how do you go back? Well, it's a swipe from the left or right edge of the display. So swipe left to go right, and you will go back. Swipe from the right side and go left, and you will also go back. I actually really enjoy this compared to swiping from one side of the edge like you do on iOS. Of course, the animation for iOS makes sense to do it that way. But for me, it's just really easy when I hold my phone with my right hand, which I typically do. Just for this video, I'm using my left hand. But when I use my right hand, swiping left from the right edge of the display to go back makes a little bit more sense. But it does make more sense. It's just easier for me to reach. So you're wondering now, in Android, that's usually how you access an app that has the hamburger menu. So let me go ahead and open up the Play Store, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can get around that. Here in the Play Store, you want to actually access the hamburger menu without touching the hamburger menu, but in doing so, you're seeing that you're actually going back. You're not actually opening up the hamburger menu. Well, if you do a swipe, people say about 45 degrees. To me, it's just a diagonal swipe. Do a diagonal swipe either down or up, and it will actually take you to the hamburger menu. Now, you see I messed that first swipe up because I'm actually looking at the camera. But when I actually do this in real life with my hand, I hardly ever miss the swipe. And swipe down. See, I'm looking at the phone. It's a swipe down, or you could do a swipe up. For me, the swipe down is easier. The swipe down is easier. I've seen some people say you actually can hold on this side of the screen and it will bring up the menu. It does, but when I do that swipe, it actually takes me back, as you saw right there. It will bring it up, but it actually kind of takes me back when I complete the swipe. One person said do a swipe diagonally and then push it right, and that kind of is another way you can access this too, if that makes it easier for you. So you want to pull up the Google Assistant here, and you want to talk to the Google Assistant, but you don't have a Pixel 3 or 2 where you can squeeze the sides like so in order to access the Google Assistant. Just hold the home button here with the 3-button menu, and you can actually 3-button navigation system. You can actually open your Google Assistant that way. So just hold the home button, open the Google Assistant that way. Now, if you're here with the 2-button system and you want to access the Google Assistant, you do not have to, and you don't have a Pixel 3 or 2, like I said before, and you can't squeeze the phone. You can access the Google Assistant here by holding the home button, and there goes the Google Assistant. Just push a little hold, you get a little haptic feedback, and there's the Google Assistant right there. So now you want to access the Google Assistant from the fully gestural navigation bar, button, gesture thingy. I don't know. Anyways, you want to get to the Google Assistant. Holding this down here actually does nothing. As you can see, it actually interacts with the app right there. So it's hard for me to do this. So just a swipe from either side of the corner. Either you could do it diagonally or a different way, and I'll show you in a second. a swipe from the left side of the corner where my hand is, do a swipe hold, will bring up the Google Assistant. And as you can see here, it actually interacts with the app, because I think this app needs to be updated, because even when I do these kind of swipes, not that swipe, when I do the swipe and hold, as you can see, it interacts with the app. So let me go back home really quick. I'll do it from there. So a swipe from the left side of the screen, up, hold, bring up the Google Assistant. If you're using your right hand, it's easier for me to swipe from the other side of the screen. You can access it from this side of the screen too. So a swipe right, hold, will actually access the Google Assistant diagonally. Now, if you don't want to swipe diagonally, the cool thing is that you can actually swipe upward and it will work in the same way. So a swipe from this corner of the screen, up, hold, it will work. Up, hold, it will work. This side of the screen as well, up, hold, it'll work. See, up, hold, it'll work. So, and I've actually, when I'm not looking at my camera screen and actually using the phone, I can do this pretty consistently. It's not an issue for me to do either that left edge swipe to bring up the hamburger menu, or this Google Assistant swipe.